welcome to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. And with me now, Steve Gago. How you doing, Steve?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all, mate. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, how's things over there?
It's good. We've recently had a few lockdowns a few weeks ago, so everything's back to normal now. I mean, compared to the rest of the world, we're actually doing pretty good. So it's actually like nothing happened unless you're traveling overseas. Yeah. Interstate, it's a little bit different, harder. But it certainly has impacted boxing quite a bit, money-wise, traveling, good fights opportunity. I was scheduled to go over to Macau again, Beijing, have a few international fights, but that's all just been canned. But it has actually worked in my favor. I'm fighting a fighter from Townsville, Queensland, Liam Paro, currently ranked number 2 in the world at the moment, holding IBF and I think WBO. So we're fighting for his 2 belts. The only reason why they're taking this fight is because he can't get in international fights at the moment. And rumors has it that for them it is a little bit of a dangerous fight for them. For me also as well, but I think it's going to be a perfect fight for me, and it's actually a good one, considering how everything is at the moment.
So do you feel they've kind of they've picked you to say, look, we'll have the fight because we've just got to keep him going until fights come abroad? But that's a dangerous move, isn't it? You look at your record: 13 fights, 12 wins, 5 knockouts. You're not someone to mess about with.
Yeah, well, I mean, they sound confident, but they also know that it is dangerous. So I think they think they might have the upper hand, being it's in their backyard. It's always different when you're fighting in someone else's yard, so I could be thrown off, or won't be climatized to the weather over there. So I think they're kind of relying on that kind of border to try and get the upper edge, and with their crowd and their judges and stuff like that. We don't know like what they're looking for, so they're probably looking for the cleaner shots to land, or I think they know that it's going to be a proper boxing fight.
Yeah.
I've been in with a Kazakhstan fighter that was training with Triple G, and I fought him, and I went the distance with him as well, and he's knocked out majority of his opponents but me. And I felt like I got robbed. Other people did too. And I went the distance with him, and I don't like brawlers, but I can deal with it. I can deal with pressure. With Liam, I've watched him, and we're both pretty much the same technique. We're both southpaws. So I think they feel like it's going to go the distance, and it'll probably be pushed over to his favor if it went the distance.
Yeah, because it's home soil and all this sort of thing.
That's right. Yeah. Just like everywhere else,
It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately, that's
just
the way
how
it
it
goes,
is.
Isn't it?
Exactly.
So how far is Townsville from you then?
Well, it's about 8-9 hour flight. Yeah, 9-hour flight.
Oh,
so 2 flights as well. So fly over to Queensland, then fly over to straight to Townsville. So 2 flights. It's going to be a bit hard because I'll be weight cutting as well. I'm in a weight cutting session, and I'm actually fighting one division lower than my normal weight. So, which is probably another advantage to them to see if I could, cut properly and be 100% on fight night.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like I'll be naturally bigger by the time I rehydrate, stronger. But we'll see. He's got some skills, and I think we're both pretty paired. A good matchup.
Yeah. So how long before the fight? How long do you go before the fight? When will you sort of head over there?
Well, it's a little bit harder here. Obviously, with boxing promotion, small boxing promotion companies, they try and limit the cost, so they obviously pay for your stay and so on. So they don't really want to pay for like 2 weeks of hotel, and and so on. So normally, I've been to Macau and Beijing, and they flew me 5 days before the fight, just to acclimatize. Yeah, and then try and weight cut. And by the time I fight, literally the day after the fight, we're at the airport. So there's no downtime, party a little bit. So, it's this in, out. Sometimes it's only a 3-day turnaround, as well. So it's hard. But I think that's maybe in Las Vegas or something like that, they'll take you over the 2 weeks in advance, just get some proper press done and done. They got the money to spend for it. But in Australia, it's not really, that big of a deal just yet, unless you're on the Paul Gallen fight and Brown fight, something like that. You can kind of, get some leeway with it.
Yeah. No. So basically, what you're saying is they're a bit stingy, aren't they?
Yes. Without bagging it, don't want to bag or anything like that, Australia, but yeah, a bit like that.
We'll leave it before you get
money talks.
Trouble. We'll leave it at that. But yeah. So where did it all start for you, Steve? When did you start boxing?
I started boxing at the age of 14, 15. So in Perth. So I'm originally from Melbourne, Victoria. So I was born and bred, and moved over to Perth when I was about 9 years old. There's 6 of us kids, single mum to raise all of us. We did have a stepdad, but he died with cancer. Then it went all to shit again. So 6 kids, mum trying to look after us and putting us at private school.
It's an incredible mum, mate. That's an incredible mum.
Yeah, awesome. And she's done a good job, but she can only do so much, and especially when we're all little shits, like we didn't have a real great upbringing, like we got hassled when we were kids, that's for sure, in Melbourne and here as well. So we were bullied, a lot. In Melbourne, it was very hard, when she was single as well. There was only 3 of us at the time, 4 of us at the time. And honestly, I don't know how mum did it, but like majority of the time, it will be our uncles taking care of us, and feeding us, sometimes our neighbors as well. It was rough. That's why we moved to Perth. With our stepdad, everything was going great, because we had a man figure in the house. And then when he got sick, he had his leg amputated, and it just went. He died 2 years after that, and then it just went to shit again because I was still young. I was still like a young adult, young teenager still, and then everything landed on me. I'm the eldest in my family, so I'm working. I'm paying the bills. I'm making sure my youngest brother and sisters got lunch and school stuff for them. So I raised them, and got hard. And while I was at school as well, drove past a boxing sign. It was actually my younger brother. He actually saw it and wanted to go in there. We tried it out, and I haven't left since. So, and I think, boxing was to break me away from reality. When everything was, all my money went to my mum's bills and feeding the whole family of us, and I was working my ass off while going to school, while trying to be a teenager and hang out with my friends on the weekend. Boxing took me to a different world. So it got all my frustration out and made me feel like I had a second family that was supporting me, and mentally and emotionally. So yeah, it's a big part of my life that's actually probably made me the person I am today.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing, Steve. That's and you're only gonna when you get into boxing, it's learning those sort of fundamentals of life as well, isn't it? You know, it kind of
That's right. Yeah.
brings everything together. You know, although home life was really difficult and you were in a tough place, boxing sort of brings that. I don't know. There's a comfort to it, isn't there? Like you were saying, there's that second family value. There's that, you know, brings you that determination, that bit more grit in your life to sort of bear through some of those
That's right. Yeah.
situations that come along and sort of help you steer.
Yeah. It just teaches you. That's right. Yeah. It just comes out naturally. It just teaches you not just the whole fighting thing, just how you walk around in life, like walk around on the streets on your own after you leave the training session. You don't want to, you know, you leave all your anger there or the violence in the ring. You know, some people are, you know, you get a few people that go into boxing, go, yeah, I'm a boxer, and then they start out trouble and stuff like that. You know, but with, you know, guys like me, guys like Francis, guys like Jackson, you know, like we leave it all at the gym and we just, you know, yeah, it's just it just teaches you, you know, good morals, and you know, it just opens up like another, yeah, something else in your brain, just to be like, all right, it just makes you work harder, and not just in boxing but in towards your life. It just brings everything up.
Yeah. So
Hard to explain, but
from the age of
yeah.
14, when did you have your first fight? When was your sort of first amateur fight?
My first amateurs was so I didn't fight for a while until 17, and then I started fighting here in Perth, and then, you know, being a typical teenager, you know, I'll have a couple of fights and then go on a drinking, you know, out with the boys on the weekend, and then you know, people's caught me out at the clubs the week before my fight, you know, and I'm drunk, you know. So I didn't take it as serious when I was young, but I still walked away with a win, you know, just carrying on my skills. I was huffing and puffing, like I wasn't fit, but I was tapping and moving. So I just got away with that, and then stopped for about a year, moved to Melbourne to help with my uncle there. He's got a couple of businesses there, and I was helping him out with it. And again, we drove past the boxing gym. So I was like, screw it. Went and signed up, got fit again, and started fighting under there. And that's when I learned more. That's when I learned the real Olympic style boxing, the technical, the sweet science of boxing. I was training under with Sam Brizzy, the guys that's I don't know if you've heard of. Sorry, my mom, like Magic Mark. You know, I was training alongside with them. Yeah, you know, I know Michael's a raffle, like, you know, I know him personally as well. So all the boxers over there. It was good sparring there. We went to the actual Collingwood gym, the Olympic style boxing, did some sparring over there. I learned a lot of things there. It changed me completely. It just took my whole boxing from another level. So from there, that's when I started, which was 8 years ago now, and then was reserves for the Commonwealth Games, and then I didn't get into the actual get to fight, which broke me because I was working towards it, and I fought a guy named Cam Eyes, and he was more favorite, and we fought twice, 6-6, count back, lost, and he went into the Australian titles for the Commonwealth Games. So that ruled me. That kind of cut me deep, and I was in Melbourne. And then, you know what? 2 months later, I moved back to Perth. After that, I moved back to Perth. Wasn't thinking about fighting until my current trainer now, with Jay Gray, with Francis and Jackson, convinced me to turn pro. Did, and haven't looked back.
Yeah, and as we're saying, what, 13 fights, 12 wins?
Yes.
Yeah, you're on a good run. And, you know, like a lot of people say, yeah, you might have the one loss on the record, but it's one learning. It's a learning fight, isn't it? You learn from those things, and what you take from them, you move on with.
Yeah, correct. I learned a lot from that loss. I mean, going back 2 of my fights of that, even before that fight, that loss, I fought in Macau, and I won that IBF title in Macau. The day I won that title, that belt was the day that they buried my uncle in Melbourne. So and that was emotional, very emotional for me. That broke me because 2 weeks before that fight, before I flew out, that's when I got a call saying that my uncle passed. And he was the one that him and his brothers, my uncles, they raised me when I was a kid in Melbourne, so I didn't know what to do. Can the fight go straight to Melbourne, or what? I just wasn't training. I was training, but my mind was elsewhere.
Yeah.
So my other uncles were saying, just go, he would want you to fight. He would want you to win that belt and bring it straight to Melbourne, to his grave. And I did that exactly. And that was tough. But it was an amazing feeling. It was an amazing feeling. You will see that fight. If you see a photo on my Instagram, it's before they even announced my name. I was just looking up and I just pictured him just looking down on me. So that was the best moment of my life. And then a month later, or not even a month, 3 weeks later, after winning that title, my manager, Tony Tolge, he calls me and says there's an opportunity to fight in Sydney on the Tim Tszyu undercard against a very tough opponent, Nursultan. What his name? Kazakhstan guy. And he was, and I was looking him up, and it was a beast. He'd knocked out all his opponents. He had, I didn't even know at the time, he had over 300 amateur fights training at a Triple G's camp. So again, I was like, all right.
Easy.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit. I was like, I didn't want to. I just got this title. Are you for real? But it was for another 2 more title fight. My manager said that, look, it's not going to be a walk in the park, but take it the distance, you'll take the fight. You can win. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. Again, 3 weeks before that fight, 2 weeks or 3 weeks before that fight, one of my best mates in Perth, he died in a car accident over in Serbia. One of my good mates, and he was one of the guys that I started boxing with as well back in the very first club that I walked into here in Perth. And again, when I got that call, when I heard about that, again, are you serious right now? Like, I'm going through this fight camp again, in an emotional state, and that was hard. So 2 of those fights, I wasn't mentally mentally stable, but I got away with it. The Kazakhstan guy, I thought I did enough. It's the fight's on YouTube. If you ever watch it, you can hear the judges. You can hear it. It should have been.
I did have a look.
But yeah, but you know what? Like, he was more busier and cool with it. Like, it was a good fight, and it was a big learning curve. But at the same time, I wasn't myself. Yeah. So, but honestly, best fight of my life. If I can take,
isn't it, Steve? It's one of those fights where, as a judge, it depends what they're looking at. If you're looking at, the person that's the higher output, you're looking at the people that have got the more, aggressive approach. It depends what you're looking at as a ref, doesn't it? As to how you score a fight. And like you were saying, it's such a difficult one, because on another day you could have had 3 different officials around the ring, and they all could have looked
exactly
at it slightly differently, and you could have got it.
Yeah.
So it's like you say.
It's
take it and just say, look, the judges went with that. That's what they went with. There's not a lot I can do, but I gave it all I could for the frame of mind that I was in. Now pick myself up and get on to the next one.
Yeah, so it froze there a little bit. Don't know what happened there.
But yeah,
internet.
It's one of those, isn't it, mate? Where it's a difficult one to take. But like you were saying, in the frame of mind you were in, You know, you gave all you could give, and you know, you could only do your mate proud.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what all my other friends were and his family like were saying, and they were motivating me like just do it for him. And you know, went out there, tried to do it. Well, I thought I did. Well, I actually did do it, you know, but unfortunately, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't good enough. But and it just makes you wonder, you know, like you got the good counter fighters, the good boxers that you know can land the cleaner shots and block and counter off these other shots. And you know, you got people that were, yeah, he won that fight clearly, and then you got no, he didn't do enough. You know, it's just if that's the case, then Mayweather should have lost a majority of his fights. You know, so it's funny. It's just funny, but it is what it is. You know, this is Aussie boxing as well. They look, I think more Oz boxing, pro boxing as well. I think they go back more on how the Olympic style boxing is. You know, they've got a certain way of how they box and how they look at fighters and fights and scoring systems. So completely different to overseas. Well, my opinion is.
It's getting there. It's getting there. I'd say it's getting better. It's moving with the times a bit more now. It kind of got stuck in its own bubble, didn't it? And but now I think, you know, Aussie boxing is getting a lot more eyes on it now, and it is getting publicised a lot more. A lot more people are looking at it because a lot of the Aussie boxers are coming into Europe. They are coming over to the UK. They're going to America, and I think the more eyes that get put on those, you know, people start to think, actually, there's a really good crop of fighters over there, and we need to start taking note. And I think it's happening.
Yeah.
It is happening.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, you've got your next fight coming up. We're going to plug that now. The 26th. Big fight for you.
It is, yeah. Massive opportunity. Going for the ranking for number 2 in the world. After this, hopefully, if I win this, well, when I win this fight, it'll be a world title shot after that. So, and I'd love to go overseas somewhere. Love to go overseas somewhere to fight. You know, I know it's difficult at the moment, but fighting overseas is it's a different atmosphere. It's awesome. It's really good. Good experience. And I went and fought in Beijing, and that was awesome. Macau, even better. You know, so I want to go America, somewhere like that, or even the UK. You know, something like that. I'd love to fight around there. So.
Yeah, don't put us after the US. Don't put us after the US. You want to come here? That's what you meant. That's what you meant.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. You've made it clear now. But no, massive fight coming up. I'm gonna, but before you know, we say goodbye. Lopez versus he's dreading it versus Kambosos. What a fight! Very highly anticipated. It's on Triller. They're gonna make shed loads of money out of this fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll be a good undercard to fight under.
You are gonna go with George, aren't you?
Look, I'll say this. George has to use his speed. He has to be busy and keep moving. Now, if Tio did what he did to Loma, right, with his jabs and getting him on his back foot, he's got no chance. But George has to come out like he normally does. Speed, combos, moving, does not stay still. He might be able to win this, just like that, just with his work rate. But if Teo gets that jab in front of his face and keeps him still and on his back foot, and it could even be a big heavy shot that might put him on the canvas, you know. So I don't want to say that. Well, I've already said it, but anyway.
So Steve, we don't have fence sitters on this show. We don't have anyone that sits on the fence. What's your prediction?
With that fight?
Yeah. What's your prediction? Straight down at camera one. What's your prediction?
Australia's gonna hate me. Look, I feel like Teo is going to be a little bit too powerful. He's too solid. I reckon he might win with a TKO. He might. I mean, that's like I said, George has got to keep moving. If he doesn't move and he gets caught,
yeah,
you know, and George hasn't been stopped. I don't think he's undefeated, and he hasn't been,
yeah,
you know, he hasn't been under test yet. So
yeah,
George, it looks massive. I feel like he's going to wobble him, you know. So it's all about speed. It's all about speed.
Just to let you know, Australia, I'm going with Kambosos. Yeah, because I'm.
Go Aussie, Australia.
I've got Australian family, and I know my values. No, I think it's just going to be a great fight, to be honest, and I just look forward to seeing it. I think
Definitely, yeah. We need this.
Great one for this year of boxing, to be honest, and the fight's fast now. So, yeah, Steve, absolute pleasure having you on, mate. And as we say, we're going to
look forward
to June 26th. I know there could possibly be a link coming our way, so let us know. What channel did you say it might be on?
It might be. I don't 100% know. I thought it was going to be on Fox, so it could be on pay-per-view. But I have to double check that. I'd love it to be. But I think it's just going to be one of those streams. I mean, the tickets are on Ticket Tech if you're ever in Townsville, which is a big deal, which is pretty cool. But yeah, as soon as I get a live stream link, I'll send it straight to you, and hopefully all the viewers over there will enjoy the fight.
No, definitely, mate. I look forward to it. And Steve, I think you're a top bloke, mate, and keep doing what you're doing. You're a real class act. I've heard great things about you, and I think the lads are right. So,
thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Keep up the good work, mate, and do those, the family and friends that you've lost, do them proud, mate.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
No problem, and you take care, all right? And
you too.
We'll catch up soon. Stay in touch.
Thanks a lot.
Take care, mate.
See ya.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Steve Gago, great guy. Got a fight June 26th. A few titles on the line there, and then following that, if he wins that, a big title shot afterwards. So world title shot. So yeah, good luck to Steve. We wish him all the best. Really, really nice guy. So he's given his verdict on Lopez versus Kambosos. We have a good laugh about that as well. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. You've been watching JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. And if you like what you've seen, go over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and check out the rest of the content. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all soon.